first law of wealth is called understanding the law number one of wealth. Understanding the number one law of wealth will completely change your life. Want to see? Follow along with me here to see. If we can unlock wealth, money is an energy of exchange. Let me teach you what money is. In the Bible it says, perfect love casts out all fear. So, if you have fear, it is because you are not perfect. It is love. Love has not taken you yet. I understood nature. I understood the environment. I understood the seed. I understood prosperity. Say it with your mouth, like this, prosperity. It is breaking through. In the Bible itself, believing it, it is written like this. Nature reveals the glory of the Creator. I am nature. I reveal His glory. Even the mule reveals it. The stone reveals it. Everything reveals His glory. Brother, if I could open your head, give it a cleaning, open your heart, remove all the junk, and say like this, keep only this here. This here would make you prosper in everything. You have to understand that wealth in all places, all culture, every type of wealth works the same way. First, the first law of wealth is called nature. Nature sustains all laws. Nature does not need man. Man can enjoy nature. If nature needed man, God would have made man first, nature after. So there is a principle you will write down there called principle of order. Principle of order points that nature does not need man. Only in a more detailed language, we are nature too. Only that we think that we were born to destroy nature. And we, with our thoughts, our movements, our connections, the majority of people are unnatural. I think you will bug out later. We will fix this. Pay attention to what I am telling you. Say it, everyone, with me. Nature does not need man. This is a perspective of what is the principle of order. God created things in His sequence. The next to last thing God created, man. The last thing God created, enjoyment. What makes everything go wrong when man does not fulfill the seventh day, what we call Saturday. For you to understand, it does not mean seventh day. The Hawihi, seventh day, is the fullness of creation. There are people who confuse it, even think there has to be a religion with the name Saturday. The thing is called seventh day. It is the end of creation. If you want to write the code, it is the end of creation. It is enjoyment. End of everything is enjoyment. I was with my partners today, having lunch with the investor, and then I asked how many years this company of ours has. Then someone said 6. I said that explains why it grew 50 times. The company is 6 years old. 6th year is exponentiality. Next year is enjoyment. Then we laughed like crazy. You can learn to read nature and understand the cycles of nature. So much so that God said like this to the Jews, you will plant. For 6 years in the 7th, the land has to rest. Remember this or not? And they did not stop. They paid dearly for it. If you run over the rest of the land, if you run over the rest of time, if you run over the rest of a business, you will pay dearly for it, because this is natural. So the law number one of wealth is nature. Nature as a whole, starting by the atom proton, the electro-neutral, starting by all this, every physical formation, metaphysical understanding that nature has, the eternal nature has the temporal nature, has the nature that is of Chronos, has the nature that is of Kairos. Understanding the number one law of wealth will completely change your life. It is called nature. After you reach a conclusion, you will understand that you too are nature and that you cannot disturb it. I will show you what it is to be unnatural. When you doubt, you are unnatural. When you have fear, you are unnatural. But only, and when I am tired, even though you do not believe, if you are tired only gets tired, who is not fulfilling the purpose? Because all forces are renewed every day. If you are eating, wrong, sleeping wrong, without drinking water, without happiness, without feeling loved, without dopamine, which is novelty of life. If you are like this, your life will turn into tiredness. And the fault is not that you are tired, you are disconnected from the purpose, natural, automatic, spiritual. You understanding the eternal nature is metaphysical, and the physical nature you have no way to be tired. Marcelo, do you want to be the big beast? Do you want to speak here for us, here for Brazilians, and 8 billion people on Earth that you do not get tired. I cannot get tired, man. The question that everyone asks me every day, where do you get this energy from? I already do not even like to finish hearing the question. I already speak in the same place as you, only that you do not know how to use yours. What is being unnatural, having fear, having doubt, getting discouraged? These things mean that you are being against nature. But I am worried. 85% of your worries will not lead to absolutely anything, but you spent 85% of your life with them. Marcelo, you know what it is. I have too much trauma. I do not want to fall. Why do not you learn and grow with this? Instead of diminishing yourself with this, the person is diminished just like that. Instead of learning from that and becoming stronger, she is become weaker. On the contrary, if it is in nature, she is adaptive. It is not the strongest who survive, it is those who adapt quickly. So if the world goes through chaos and the sun does not, if there is some problem in the rotation of the Earth, the globe stops spinning and stays constant sun. The majority of the Earth dies. Then you say, is there a way not to die? First thing you have to do, right? You have to live underground, because if you stay in the sun all the time, this sun will bring so much heat that you will die of heat. There are people who die because of little heat. There are people who die because of little cold, little exposure, cold. And there is the detail. There are people who would not think how to solve weight. If nature is giving a signal, I need to act naturally. I cannot have this solar exposure. If the majority of you were to cross a desert today, something bad happened, you would all die. Why? Because you would say, I need to walk all day and sleep at night. Do not do this in the desert. In the desert, it can reach 0 degrees at night. You will die of cold with hypothermia. No, but I will run all day. You cannot, because you will have sunstroke. So what do? It is very simple. It is just being natural. In the desert, the bases invert. Run all night long, your temperature stays high, and you support the cold of 0 degrees all night long without sun and with cold. What do? I raise the temperature of my body running. Do not stop running until you see the sun. You saw the sun stop, but you know what desert is. Here, in Brazil, we do not have desert. It is desert. It is everything that you have a lot of difficulty to cross. There is nothing in abundance, and you have to cross that for you to reach your promised land. And there is the detail. If you are natural, understand the laws of wealth, you can cross the desert with tranquility. During the day, you already explained at night what to do during the day. During the day, you stay quiet so you do not get sunstroke or dehydration. Then the sun comes, tear a piece of your clothing, stay under a little roof, quiet. Find a way to take a nap, sitting, let the sun pass. If no cloud blesses the time, none do not move. Then you say, damn, why did I never think of this? It is because you are not so natural like this. You are very artificial. You think you have to use the same bases. Nature, you need to change base. For example, if I need to cross a river, have problem with swimming, or I am injured, a pants like this can turn into a float. Have you stopped to think about this? Or it cannot turn into a float. I take off. The pants, tie the hem, take the pants, make the air very strong, get in the water and close it. It can turn into a float. Of course, it will infiltrate water slowly, but you can cross the river. There are things that your natural mind starts to perceive that you can use. You can take trees, you can assemble or make a raft, you can do so many things. Only that we as human beings stopped being natural. We went to artificial things. We went to technology. Today, we are slaves of thought. We do not think. Law number 1, environment, no nature. Nature is the law number 1 of wealth. Understanding nature as it is. Want to see? Follow here with me to see if you can unlock in wealth. When I am 90 years old, someone asks about wealth. To me, I will speak like this. Look at nature. There is a thing called earth seed on the ground. Phase 1 broke the seed. Then the root grows the foundation. Goes the little plant goes growing. Then it goes getting wide, turns into a tree. The canopy grows. The fruit appears. Phase 1, plant seed. Phase 2, prosperity, which is the breaking of the plant of the tree. When it matures, it delivers the last phase 3, which is called wealth. Look at what I just spoke. Wisdom, prosperity, and wealth. Seed, tree, and fruit. If wealth is not natural, I do not know what this is here. Let us study now the rivers. There is a mountain. The pressure of water from the soil makes the spring, which is number 1. This spring flows, enters number 2, which is the bed. Bed here has a waterfall called Foz, is number 3. Look how interesting. Wisdom is the spring, it is God. This breaking of the river is prosperity. The overflow of the river is called Foz. It is the wealth of a river. Want me to prove that if how do you cut the wealth of a river, do not serve water to anyone. How is this called here? This here is called dam. It is not river, but cut naturally the wealth. Why dam does not have wealth? Because fish inside dam do not reproduce. Someone knows this right. It means that people who are dams broke the phase called overflow. Tree that does not give fruit broke the wealth. If you want to keep bothering me, I will take here a female body, and I will show how wealth is made. The same way you take a male, send the porridge here inside the porridge in 41 weeks, will grow. The porridge comes out as a boy of 50 centimeters. One porridge is worth 1. This here is worth 10,000 in relation to size, 10,000% return. One porridge, microscopic, turns into a child of 50 centimeters. Interesting. This here has the seed. This here has the earth. This here is the fruit. Then, if you understand what nature is, you will be rich, both with water, both with tree, both with animal. As in genetic reproduction, then you start to perceive, then with money, money is not wealth. Speak with me to see if it unlocks. I know that you do not believe, but let us find a way. 1 hour you will understand. Speak like this. Money is not wealth because it is not natural. That is right. I spoke of people, I spoke of river, I spoke of plant, i.e., can speak of anything that is natural. Speak with your mouth. Like this, wealth is natural. So if the pillar number 1 of wealth is nature, nature is the base, and the money, where does the money fit? Money is an energy of exchange. Let me teach you what money is. Money has no relation with this. Here, God did not create. Money is not with river, is not with tree, is not with animal, is not with people. What is money? Then, for the love of God, why does the people kill because of money? Because money is the fastest way to not need to plant and harvest. You can steal from someone. How so? It is the following. As God did not create money, the man did not want to govern there in Eden. When he leaves Eden, he does not want to learn the things from the sweat of your work. You will have to eat. Then it starts. The lazy one do not want to do this. Want to live off the other. Let us understand where money entered. Money entered in a village once in a tribe where everyone lived happy, and everyone learned everything. Only that then some people started, but here there are too many people here. Everyone is doing everything. Is it not better? One who is more capable of hunting, who has more courage to go there, hunting you, who like to stay more at home. Why do not you sweep the village? Then they started. It was like this. As I am, capitalism is there. Eden always was governalism kingdom. It will be governalism again. Let me see if I teach you with graph. Maybe it will be better here. Look, Eden is here. We are here. Look, now it is here. Look, here was governalism. Here, a bunch of idiots are disputing if socialism or capitalism is the best. And here, it will be governalism again. Here is the kingdom. Here is Eden. God spoke like this govern. So there is no socialism in Eden, no nor capitalism. That. God did not create money and nor spoke that had to keep doing social thing for nobody here. Government. I will not even put name in these videos you put closed. Do everything you want. Multiply. Go all in. Then enters the syndicate of the excluded in the figure of a serpent. Speak, boy, let us be equal to God. Theory of equality is what created socialism. Lie. There is no equality. If there existed equality, God would speak that we are equal to Him. He spoke that we are image and likeness of Him, so each one will govern in until where He wants. There is no limit, okay? If we were equal, God would have made us in the factory, we would have a cereal plate, and we would be exactly the same in the same thing. If I speak one thing here, each one has a different feeling, so pay attention. We are not equal. This is the failed theory, and so it deceives the poor. Because for the poor, it is that he is inequality. Everyone has to be poor equal to him. Everyone has to have the purchasing power annulled equal to him. And I will speak one thing from the bottom of my heart. What the government of today is doing is pushing away all the rich from this country to break it in the middle. Because for them, it does not matter if there is rich or if there is poor, as long as they command the money in these trillions. Even if it is half that they break this country, it is what they want. They want to run the theory of equality, so every poor stays happy and sees everyone fucked. But then, they who are the locust, they will command, contrary to who is a governalist who wants to see the people rich. A people rising up, a people that does not depend on state. These guys are malignant, and they are doing this on purpose, and they are pretending that nothing is happening. They use all our own money to tell a story that does not exist. These crazy guys do this. The serpent of Eden had the same thing. It is, look, Eve, how are you going to be equal to God? Nobody is equal to God. When Lucifer wanted to be equal to God, God put Michael in the middle of the way and spoke. Like this, Michael, I put the name of my son, 03, because of this. Look what Michael means. Who dares to be equal to God? This is the meaning of Michael, that the theory of a failed socialism that never worked anywhere and killed more people than COVID plague, bubonic plague, Spanish flu, avian flu, influenza, everything. If you join all the catastrophe of the earth, nothing killed more than socialism, trying to make people be equal. We are not equal. If you do not accept this, you will be an idiot your whole life, and you will kill a bunch of people until today, it will continue killing. Then enters serpent. With this damned syndicate of equality. Why do not you eat this there? You will be equal to God. Theory of speak with the mouth there, for you to free yourself from this shit. I came from public school. I already experimented. This poison, this garbage. Speak like this? Look, we are not equal. Pay close attention. This theory of equality was not. Lenin was not. Karl Marx was not. Stalin was not. It is Antonio Gramsci who created it. Was the devil who created. Then you think, and capitalism crowned the people by money. And what do? They love to define this in this way, to lock everyone so not to prosper. Believe the biggest part of the capitalists that I know sponsor socialism only has 2% of the people here, that is, contrary 2% here and 98% here. Look, and what is the problem of the capitalists? They do everything, so this here never decreases and here also never increases. Only that in Eden always writes all world like this. Look, I am journalist. If in Eden it was journalism in the kingdom, it will return to be governalism. Here it was 100%. It was only follow what God spoke. Marcello, what is governalism? It is the government of heaven on earth. Does not need any of these two people here. This here, look, is the model of pull to here, that pull to there. And in the end of accounts, this here steals the nation. The awakening of the identity, the clarification of the purpose of a people, makes the people be governalist. When a person prospers, she needs to remember the state. The stop is the following. Nature reproves completely what is happening here. I will explain why. There does not exist land richer than Brazil. There does not exist. Of air, land, water, subsoil, pre-salt. There is not by volume, by atmosphere, by the three harvests, by the water mirror, by the ore, by the forest, by the river, by the aquifer. Everything there is not There is not spice. There is nothing. Naturally, we are the richest country. But why that we are not rich? Because we have a people with the mentality miserable searching a utopia that does not exist. That is why I speak to you. Define this in your head. I will prosper only to expel this people from here, but only we could put them to run. Boy, do. You believe that they are doing this in Venezuela. He does not change. The poor people is leaving on foot from that country already left 7 million. I am not worried with the government. I am worried with the people. If the people rise up, this government will turn employee of the people and not nanny of the people. Then speaking about wealth, if the first is nature, the second is what? Pay attention. The second is environment. Nature works. Speak with the mouth. Like this, look, nature works. Now, the environment needs to be generated. So the law number 2 is generate. Environment. What means generate environment? Nature is nature in the whole world. Only that, if not generate an environment, for example, there are parts of Brazil that have sand, and the people spoke all life. It is not possible to plant anything in sand. Then arrives someone that understands nature goes, there is but why that cannot. It is because there is no water. Just drill the ground. Dam pull the water from the ground and plant that which catches in sand. The sand works also to plant. Then the other freaks out. But we do not have this culture. So it lacked only to read the nature and generate the environment. Again, nature is rich. São Paulo is the most powerful of the southern hemisphere. It is because there is people in the same city that did not understand the role because did not generate environment. Nature is immutable, but I need to create atmosphere. Creation of atmosphere so big that if I want to make rain, I make. Put starts to give shock. In the clouds, you already saw doing this there in Dubai. Later search, who did not see. Then starts to give shock, discharges the rain. Ah, you are kidding with me. This is the manifestation of an environment. It is possible to impregnate the atmosphere. If you do not know what I am speaking, there is way to take the water from the air. The water from the air, take a process of humidification and take the water from the air. Your air conditioner does this. You already saw that there is a drain in the air conditioner that stays dripping. An air conditioning machine takes the humidity from the air and transforms in water. That is, there is way to impregnate this thing. There are places that rain a lot, and there are places that do not rain. When you go to buy a farm, do not buy because it is cheap. Ask in Google the name of the city, and the region will show how many millimeters of rain there is per year. It is equal snow. Person, I want to ski such place. Come, let me see how many days of snow there. These days, we decided to ski in a place in the United States that snows 15 days per year. I spoke. God forbid. The snow is no good. You have to arrive on day X. And what day that you will hit this day X? I prefer to go in the place that snows 100 days. That 100 days it is certainty that you will ski. But, you know, and there, you had socialist instruction. Yes, in school. I studied in public school. I learned to play the capitalist game. Because it is a game, we are in the environment of capital where it values and devalues people. That is why the people do not respect people. They respect the capital. In this type of game, you can tell the story that you want. If you do not have result, nobody respects you. I discovered something in this game. I do not need to be loved by anyone. The people will have to swallow me by the result. So you sometimes did not prosper until now, because you want to be loved. You do not need to be loved. It is not the game of the people. The people only respect you by your result. And there you take a brilliant training. If the people want, they will only respect you, not by what you are, but by what you reached. So work for this. Only that there speaks, I will not do this for the others, no. So if you have result, you will do for you, because the result is yours. As a bonus, this people shuts the mouth. Are you understanding or not? So it does not help to read the nature. If I were you, I would read the nature. The biggest thoughts, the biggest thinkers of the world, including Solomon, who is the wisest of all who already existed, learned to read the nature, and I learned to read the nature with him. Because I stayed puzzled why that Solomon is so rich, how that a guy 3,000 years ago, 30 centuries ago, had more than $3 trillion. What do you need to do? Understood. Nature speaks like this. Look, nature is simple. If a person starts to create complexity, it is not nature, some artificial thing from the problematic head of her. I created environment. Created environment? Great. Third, right there. Created environment. I did of the seed. Seed is the third pillar of wealth. What is seed? Seed of idea, seed of human semen or animal, or seed of plant. I need the seed. I need the trigger if you want to write seed. I trigger. Why that the seed is important. There are people who are passionate about seed, put in the pocket. Seed has to plant in the earth. Idea has to plant in the head. Brain is equal to earth. You understood the nature, you will read everything. You understand the environment, you will not let anyone destroy the environment. For example, the air conditioning here in the environment is pleasant, yes or no. If I turn off, it will stay what way? It will slowly the environment being compromised. What do you prefer? You prefer that I turn off the air. This thing will touch, slowly, will heat up. Or you prefer that I put the air in very cold, for you to stay. Trembling, chattering, what do? You prefer? Very cold or air turned off, lowering the temperature slowly. Turn off the air you like more comfort, right? Only that if you start to jump and to speak, you will prefer to pass cold than to pass heat. That is, we are speaking of environment. The place is the same. I am the same. The lecture can be the same, but it can destroy the experience. Like, this also is the seed. If the environment is not generated, I am married, but you do not marry with this woman every day. This train does not work. There is the problem that nobody understands. The marriage is not the day that you registered this in the registry or in a pastoral anointing or of the priest. It is the day that you did this today. Because marriage is environment, company also, friendship also, generation of environment. Why that the seeds that you take do not prosper? Because you do not know how to read nature and do not understand environment. The seed is the same thing of putting in concrete? No, but I think that it is soft here. There is water. Then put it is soft concrete. Then the train dries. The seed goes where you took the power of it. No, I will leave here on the asphalt. If it is from God, it will catch on the asphalt. I will put in thorn. It will not catch, because it will stay suffocated. I will put in a hard and dry earth. It will not catch, because it needs to have energy in the earth. Hard and dry will not. There is seed, needs water. And there is the detail. If you do not understand this law of wealth, it will not help. Law number 4, prosperity. What is prosperity? Never confuse anything that I am speaking with money, because the 7 laws of wealth do not have money in them. Money is pecunia. I was going to show now. I will show. What is the money? I did the drawing here. I ended up passing, following. As the man did not want to dominate over all things, did not want to multiply, did not want to learn, did not want to dominate nor expand the way that has Genesis, did not want what that the man did. The man left there and spoke what that God sent to do. The nor wheel and spoke. Tell me, what was that he spoke? Repeat there. The people that was there in Sinar, the people was in Sinar. Speak for nest of nest following. God is against us, that our ancestors all died. Only Noah was left, and had a bunch of people here that we know that stayed behind and such. Beauty. Then the descendants of that story came by Noah, right? By the 3 families of the 3 sons. And they, of course, heard these stories generation in generation. They rose up against God, speaking, God sent us to multiply in all earth. God sent us to spread on the earth, be difficult to multiply, dominate over everything, and put everything to work for us. The union of rod spoke, then we will do the opposite. We will be unnatural. We will not multiply. We will not expand on the earth. We will make one name only, and we will be similar to the highest. We will go up the high of the sky, and we will put a name on a tower. what that the Nimrod did. He did a trap. He created the trap for everyone to fall in the city vertical. And there goes, he undertake a building of 2.4 kilometers of height, that nothing more, nothing less, is 3 times the height of the Burj Khalifa of today. The good part for you to understand what is the human head and the destruction of the knowledge and of the wisdom along the years. These guys, 5,000 years ago approximately, built the Tower of Babel brick and bitumen, 2.4 kilometers of height, without crane, without computer, without engineer, without architect. Only one people revolted against God. And they're what that they did. Revolted against God, built one tower 3 times bigger than that billion work of the Burj Khalifa. I already stayed hosted in this building. There has a hotel that is called Armani, 55,000 the daily. There has 156 floors. If you were to double the Burj Khalifa, then it did not give. Imagine a tower of almost 500 floors. It is what the guys did 5,000 years ago. And there, what happened? Those guys, they did not want to fulfill what God spoke. That is why he organized where it speaks. That the own God descended, confused the language of them, and each one went to the direction. Nobody will stay without fulfilling that God spoke. God spoke, now they are in one only language. And nobody will prevent these guys of doing anything. There I took one code. I can assure to you that it is one of the things that most made me prosper since when I heard this code until today. It was exactly what is in Genesis 11:6. The speech of the living God is where I explore very strong this in the mind for everyone to get locked, and everyone stays like this. Look. Now, look here. As the man lost the capacity to study, to govern, to multiply, to subject nature to him, he speaks like this. I want to mess only with one thing. Funny. The families of the past 100 years ago did not have children to speak. Come here, my children, my heirs. Negative. The children of 100, 300, 400, 500 years ago were many children to have workers in that crop, in that business. The surnames in the past were surnames of the profession. It is the Oliveiras, it is the Ferreiras. Had a boss in Brazil Telecom with the surname Balgatner, German. It means that the family was gardener. Each surname in the past was the profession. Look how crazy. I had my name. Then I created a surname of my business, and I put my children. Until the world was crazy. That is today, it is crazier still. The person, for example, today, after so many thousand years in life, she takes one diploma and thinks that turned that. This people is crazier than those of the past. Because before your father put the surname, you accepted. I am a Ferreira. That was the guys that messed with everything that was of this line. I am Oliveira. We mess with this. We plant Oliveira. We are Marçal. You know what Marçal is not right. It was the owners of the sea and took salt. What happens? What happens? This business got so strong that the role of the families were to have many children, to have workers. Then what happened with the movement? For example, the wheat, this is scary. There the wheat only had in the east. There was no place anywhere in the world. How the people hunted. I will return in the origin of capitalism. Arrived the day that they started to discuss. You go, you will do this, you will do that. Their beauty. Then I will do like this. I do not like to hunt. I have fear of animal. Then you will sweep here. The other will take care of the cabin. One turns builder of cabin. The other sweeps cabin. The other arranges water. Each one according to his capacity. Then, what happened? The guys gave the life. Died people hunting and arrived with the big animals of the bush. Was going to divide. The guy thought I stayed the whole day to divide with. A guy that only fetched water there 50 meters. Then the division started to be equal. Let us do equality. And that feeling of, who hunted like this, bro? I am being harmed, because I am running risk. The guy of the water does not run risk. And this one that stays here, only at the door of the village sweeping is. But everything is important? No. I think it is important even. But we will do the following. I will not trade one day of sweeping for a piece of bacon. I will not give you a band of this, of this. They will call pig. It does not make sense I give you a band for the sweeping. Then they started the fights. It was there that started the deaths. Then in mass, even. Because the people did not understand each other in this. Then we started to value. Then there is the secret. If all of us had a piece of land we planted, had the animals of creation, and enjoyed there a little piece of land, we were self-sufficient, you knew this or not. If we trained, if we had the life of the ancients of sleeping there to the 7 hours of the night, wake up at 4 of the morning, work until the sun stays zenith, which is midday, stop working and stay a rest there until 4, arrange the last things and sleep again. We would not have skin cancer. We would not have this so much of problem. You heard what I am telling you. If cut the technology, if cut this so much of thing, we would have our little fish, our little cow, our little goat, our little farm. We would produce our own food and live there, yes or no, and from time to time joined one party in these 10 farms and did one OA there, killed one ox and divided with all world and prairie show. Beauty only that it is not like this. They started to tell a life different for us. Let us live all world piled up for us to stay sick. Let us make a building, go live all world together. And the sewage. What sewage? Never had seen that he did not make difference. In the past, you did poop or pee through salt to kill the germ salt. It has solved the sanitary problem. Then they started to join the people. So since the village, when they started to value the hunt, different from who fetched water, already started to arrange confusion. And there started this fight, and it is called barter. I trade one piece for one thing that you do. And there, this barter was increasing so much technology, so much invention, so much craziness, that it does not give more to do barter. For example, you plant corn. I plant coffee. I want to buy 1 sack of corn. With what that I will pay. With coffee. Only that you are delivering me the sack of corn, and does not want to take coffee, because you already have coffee in stock. You negotiated with another person another time, right? Then that creates the money. The money is not wealth. Damn! The money is a trade, one representation of the wealth. It is called energy of trade. So for me to buy this corn, I need to sell well my coffee to have the such of profit. Not only billing the profit. I take this money, I bring the coffee. I take the money, I use the money, I buy the corn. The guy delivers me the corn. This triangle here, look. It was this that made the money have so much value. Money is energy of exchange, so I have to bow to money. Never you have to understand the nature. Let us prosper there. Already gave fear. Only for you to understand this is unnatural, that the nature does not feel fear. If you want to take in the Bible, sometimes you do not believe in it, but it is possible to start to believe only to prosper. Amen. 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 It is good. In the Bible, it speaks like this. Look, perfect love casts out all fear. So if you have fear, it is because you are not perfect in love. The love did not take you yet. Ah, I feel loved. Someone is feeling loved by you. If there is, because it is overflowing. So it is perfect in love. Perfect in love is not to err. Perfect in love is not to hold the love that comes from Him. To be perfect is to let the nature of God flow through you, because love is not human quality. Love is divine quality transposed in us and overflowed through us. There are 3 types of love. The love that comes from God. Want to feel loved by Him. This you do not need anything. It is only accept to self-love. Want to let this love contaminate the you whole, this breathing and releasing in the bloodstream. Already is enough. Your 37 trillion cells already will be benefited by this. Not to retain this. Love is the part 3. It is called overflow. That, to love the neighbor, how that is, to love the neighbor. I wake up every day without making force in this, because the river looks at nature, returns to nature always. Because the river does not make force to throw water to outside, it only does not retain. Like this, the love is at the spring in the river, and in the pit, in the little waterfall in the fall. River makes force to give water to the other. It is only not to disturb. I understood nature. I understood the environment. I understood the seed. I understood prosperity. Speak with your mouth like this prosperity. It is breaking through. So if prosperity is breaking through, break through, grow. Speak with your mouth to never more confuse. Speak. Like this prosperity is not money. It is breaking through. So if it is boy turned adolescent, broke through. Only that there is people that is boy small until today with 30. In the own Bible even being believing. It is written like this: nature reveals the glory of the Creator. I am nature. I reveal the glory of Him until the mule reveal. The stone reveals, everything reveals the glory of Him. Pablo Marçal begins explaining that if he had the opportunity to open the mind and the heart of the people in a deep and transformative way, he would perform a complete and meticulous cleaning, removing all the mental junk accumulated over the years, like limiting beliefs that block growth, irrational fears disguised as excessive caution, negative inner voices that repeat phrases like, "It does not work," "It is impossible for you," or "You do not deserve to prosper," leaving only the essential that really drives any individual to reach the true prosperity in all aspects of life. He presents the first law of wealth in a clear and impactful way, affirming that this fundamental law is the own nature that governs all processes of growth and abundance, and that all prosperous cultures along human history, independent of time or geographic location, followed this same universal principle without any exception. Nature does not depend on man to exist or prosper, because it continues its eternal cycle, even in the absence of human intervention. While man is who needs desperately of it to survive, breathe pure air, consume food, healthy, and live in harmony with the planet. Despite this obvious dependence, the majority of people live in a completely unnatural way, taking decisions that go against the rhythms, biological and spiritual thinking, in a wrong and distorted way by external influences, acting against the natural cycles of work and rest, and ignoring completely the own essence interior that God implanted in each one. Marçal emphasizes that God created the universe entire in a perfect and logical order, starting by nature as fundamental base after creating man to care and enjoy of it, and by last, allowing the enjoyment full of everything that was established. When the man breaks this divine order established since the beginning, especially by ignoring the sacred principle of rest represented, by the seventh day, everything starts to go wrong in a chaotic and inevitable way, leading to imbalances in all areas of life. He explains the natural cycles in a detailed way, like 6 years of intense work in the land, followed by the 7th year of rest obligatory for recovery of the soil, and warns that these cycles cannot be run over or ignored without consequences, grave and lasting, for the individual and for the society as a whole. To be against nature means to live in constant state of fear, paralyzing, corrosive doubt that undermines confidence, excessive worry that consumes energy unnecessarily intense, emotional wear that leads to depression, and physical that causes chronic diseases. Because who is outside the divine purpose lives eternally tired and exhausted. Nature is inherently adaptive and resilient, and survive only those who adapt quickly to the changes and challenges imposed by the environment, demonstrating flexibility and instinctive intelligence instead of stubborn rigidity. For him, the modern human being moved away completely from the natural and instinctive, becoming hostage of the artificial and superficial, of the technology that addicts and distracts, and of the own invented worries that do not exist in the reality of divine creation. Marçal gives practical and illustrative examples of how to act naturally in extreme situations, like to survive in the arid and relentless desert, following the rhythms of the sun and of the night to conserve energy and water, or when crossing a river mighty and dangerous, using the current to his favor instead of fighting against it in a suicidal way. he demonstrates that all true and sustainable wealth follows natural patterns observable in all places. Like the seed that is planted with care and patience, turns into a robust tree a long time after, produces abundant fruits that guarantee the continuity of the cycle. The small and modest spring turns into a murmuring stream. The stream transforms into a powerful and mighty river, and the river finally arrives at the Foz, where it overflows to the infinite ocean, symbolizing the natural multiplication of the abundance. The human reproduction illustrates perfectly the natural multiplication where a couple generates children that by their turn generate more descendants, expanding the family and the inheritance in an organic way, and bless. All that overflows naturally, without forcing or manipulating, is synonym of genuine wealth, while the selfish damming or the waste lead to spiritual and material poverty inevitable. The money teaching, then, is not authentic or eternal wealth because it is not a natural element of creation, being only one energy of exchange, artificial created by man, to facilitate transactions many times used in a wrong way to try to escape the natural effort and necessary of planting seeds, caring for the soil, and harvesting the fruits in the right time. Marçal explains the historical origin of capitalism as a system that arose from human necessity, but that can be distorted, and the inherent deception to socialism that promises equality but delivers collective misery, and affirms that both these systems did not exist in the original Garden of Eden. In Eden reigned the pure governalism, that is, the government of heaven manifested on earth, where each individual governs his own life with responsibility and freedom under the supreme authority of God, without corrupt intermediaries or human impositions. For him, the Bible theory of absolute equality is a pernicious lie created since the serpent in Eden, with the deceptive promise of being like God, and continues being used until today to manipulate masses, impoverish entire peoples, and maintain control over the nation. Marçal criticizes harshly the current political scenario in all the world, affirming that corrupt governments seek systematically to push away the productive rich, impoverish entire nation through failed policies and control the flow of the money to perpetuate power and the dependence of the people. He reinforces with conviction that Brazil is by its geographic and climatic nature one of the richest and blessed lands of the entire planet, with natural resources inexhaustible like precious minerals, abundant fresh water from rivers and aquifers, fertile soil for agriculture, in large-scale favorable tropical climate for harvests the whole year, and impressive biodiversity in the Amazon and in other biomes. Despite all this inherent natural wealth, Brazil remains poor and underdeveloped because of the miserable mentality rooted in the population of the blind belief in the utopian equality that never worked in any place of history, and of the collective incapacity to understand and live according to the natural and eternal laws of wealth established by God, who comprehends that wealth is a process of continuous overflowing plants, seeds every day with diligence and patience, cares for the growth without artificial hurry, and harvests in the divine time without anxiety or greed. Understanding that rest makes part integral of the natural cycle eliminates the fear of stopping and allows to recharge the essential energies to continue the work with more efficiency and joy. Who internalizes that nature never fails in its processes, aligns with reality, stops fighting uselessly against what is inevitable, and starts to flow harmoniously with the rhythms established, reaching prosperity without forced effort. Pablo Marçal repeats tirelessly in his messages, "Return to the natural." That God created abandon the artificial, that enslaves return to the right rhythm of work, and balanced rest, and focus only on the essential that really matters for sustainable growth. Remove all the accumulated junk in the mind and in the heart, like resentments of the past, unnecessary guilts, toxic comparisons with the others, and leave only what makes grow for real, like daily gratitude, consistent action, and unshakable faith. Because prosperity true is not result of luck random that falls from the sky, nor exclusive privilege of a lucky elite, nor strike of manipulative government that promises empty miracles. Prosperity is the logical consequence, and inevitable of who lives aligned perfectly with the laws immutable that God wrote in the own creation since the rising of the sun until the cycle of the season, and who adopts this aligned style of life. Never more lives overloaded by chronic fatigue. Never more is tormented by fears, irrational that paralyze. Never more experiences poverty, neither external in scarce finances, neither internal in empty soul. Living like this brings deep peace that transcends circumstances, genuine joy that does not depend on material goods, and abundance that overflows to impact positively the life of all around. Marçal invites each person to reflect, observe the nature around you. See how a solitary tree grows strong despite the storm, how a river finds its way, going around obstacles, and apply these simple lessons to your own journey. Daily, stop resisting the natural flow of life and start to surf on the wave of divine creation, where the intelligent effort multiplies the results and the rest restores the essential vitality. In the final of accounts, the EID central message is clear: return to the roots. Clean the path and prosper as nature intended since the beginning of time.